Hello, welcome to Netflix Landfill, the official podcast of English actors doing American accents. My name's Benjamin Sutton.
I'm Rob Flood.
How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing okay. Doing okay. Um, Slightly. You hear about the Lola Bunny news?
Space Jam stuff.
Yeah. The Space Jam sequel is coming out, and they made Lola Bunny less sexy.
It's disgraceful.
Yeah, like well, it's weird how I'm on the one hand, I think it's like stupid and annoying that they're like, oh, in the original Space Jam, they were like, oh, we have this rubbish, let's make her hot. But now I still find it stupid and annoying that they're reversing that decision. It's a catch-22. I'm angry no matter what they do.
Look, I think there's artistic merit in making a rabbit hot. If you
Yeah, it was
think how much water shit down would be better if you just have a wank to it.
exactly. Um, or if they made Porky Pig hot, that'd be good. That'd be better if they were like, okay, you can't have Lola Bunny, but we're giving you Porky Pig.
Just
That would be a nice little,
Bugs Bunny hangs dong.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh, yeah. Why not?
Uh,
That no.
The Space Jam remake is curious because it's LeBron, who's
Yeah, I think so.
he's a big deal in basketball words, but Michael Jordan sort of transcended basketball in the same way that I don't think anyone else has. So he's like LeBron. LeBron is arguably a better basketball player than Michael Jordan. But who the fuck cares outside of America?
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's weird. I don't know. It's like, do people still give a fuck about like the Looney Tunes when that first film first came out? Like what, 98 or something? I don't know when it first came out. The first Space Jam, but like people still kind of gave a fuck about the Looney Tunes. Like it was, you didn't have like Netflix and shit. You didn't have like you saw there were more like cartoon reruns. And as a kid growing up, I saw a lot of Looney Tunes shit. That doesn't really exist anymore. You know,
No, yeah,
I don't know if there'd be many like this is for is this film just for us? Is it just like for people whose nostalgia is like I want to remember being 8 years old and seeing Lola Bunny and feeling confused, or is it for actual children? I think it's for the first group of
yeah.
people.
It's probably that's a lot of these things is especially the Disney remakes and stuff. It's like the people who were kids when it came out, they now have kids and they want to show it to, kids who are about the right age. You think that the people sort of 30, between 25 and 35, some of them probably got youngish kids. And I think probably the thing with the Space Jam things, the Michael Jordan documentary just came out in the summer, and when
Oh
there
yeah,
was not anything happening, and that was huge, especially in America. It's good, and that's on Netflix. We won't do that. Who cares? But it is good. And so yeah, Netflix uploaded Space Jam and stuff as well. So probably more people have seen Space Jam this year than any of the past 5 years. So maybe it makes sense.
yeah,
But also,
great soundtrack. Film with a great soundtrack.
maybe I think I tried to watch it
DJ Slam City or Quad City, the Quad City DJs. That was it. Come on, Slam, and welcome to the jam. The R. Kelly, I believe I can fly.
oh yeah, all
That's it.
round
That's
good
all I can
guy
remember.
R. Kelly.
But yeah, those two songs were. Yeah, I mean, back, you know, th- that was before. That was definitely before the whole piss incident, and that was like his first. That was his first. Oh no, you're being naughty, R. Kelly. You're not allowed to piss on 15-year-old girls. And it was weird how, yeah, it was like he was still part of popular culture coming out. It was people were like, yeah, what are you gonna do? There's that Dave Chappelle bit where he's like, if you're 15, that you're old enough to know that if you want to be pissed on or if you don't want to be pissed on, and people just kind of like let it happen. And then we're surprised, 10 years later or 15 years later when he's running a sex cult.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a video of him.
even the worst sort of people, I'd be like, that's actually kind of surprising. They're running a sex cult.
Yeah,
Like if,
I mean,
if
I guess
Piers Morgan came
it
out
is
was running a sex cult, I'd be like, he's a bad egg, but that is still surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's fair. I mean, how many sex cults are in operation today?
I don't
You
know.
have to be
Maybe we'll
quite bad to
the
be-
census is coming out soon. Maybe we'll find out the number of sex cults soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tried to watch Space Jam recently, and I was like, I need to watch this with people. I was watching it on my own. I was just like, this is too painful to like watch alone. Well, one thing I did like about it is like Michael Jordan tried to play baseball, and like he was really shit. And like the film starts with him being really shit at baseball, and he's like, oh, it's really bad. Everyone's too nice to me. So I kind of like the fact that like Michael Jordan, massive asshole, like narcissist, but like was willing to go, yeah, I was actually quite shit at baseball.
Yeah. Well, there's the rumor that was because he was like he was like gambling on his own games or something.
Oh yeah,
Some shit, and they were like, "Oh, you need to do something else for a bit. You need to go be shit at another sport for whatever reason." I don't know why that's. Oh fuck! Michael Jordan's been committing crimes. Oh no, I know how we'll solve this. We'll go have him play baseball for a bit, and
Well,
then
yeah, supposedly
somehow
it was,
this just absolves him of the crime. Somehow, I don't know.
Well, suppose it was like a secret suspension.
Yeah.
So he's like banned, but they didn't tell anyone he was banned. But like, I don't know how much I believe that. Some people think his dad died because that's all in the documentary. It says it in there. Go watch that, Rob.
Yeah, I might.
It's good. It is good. It'll get you hyped up. But then you're like,
I'm not
you hate
a
sport.
sport person. I'm not one of these people who hates people who like sport. I think they're the most pathetic people in the world. People who like get mad at the idea of someone enjoying sport. But
Shout out to
it's
my
just not for
flatmate
me.
Thomas.
I don't know. I'm just not a competitive person.
Yeah, I just published an article about sport today, so I'm like, I fucking love sport. I love statistics about sport, and I'm like, I do things that like even sports people think like that's too much. That's just unbelievably nerdy.
Yeah. The statistics stuff is the like worst part of sports. You've managed to narrow in on like the part that everyone hates.
You're a computers guy. Did you not watch Moneyball and think I fucking love this?
No,
Have you watched
No.
Moneyball?
I didn't. I thought
You thought they
haven't
were all
seen Moneyball.
nerds. Man, Moneyball's
basically.
great.
Yeah. This thing, I just have a like elitist complex when it comes to other nerds. It's like I'm just a normal guy who just so happens to do computer stuff. Everyone else is just a complete fucking loser, wasting their life because they're nerds. That's how I view things.
No, that is fair. That is fair. But Moneyball, a film co-written by Aaron Sorkin, a bit like
Oh.
The Trial of the Chicago 7, which is the film we watched this week.
Yeah,
this week. We've delayed the podcast quite a bit. I watched it like 3 weeks ago and then rewatched it last night. But yeah, I've had no internet. Been moving flat, all sorts of things.
Yeah, you're like fucking squatting or something now.
Maybe. It's all coming up Millhouse. Got accepted.
You're a fucking yippie, bro.
I am a yippie.
You're one of the yippies. Just fucking squatting, fucking tearing down the system.
Yeah, I should get a a British flag, like all one piece, like suit and trousers kind of thing. Because yeah, that's what Sacha Baron
I'm
Cohen.
not. Why I'm just.
Oh, Sacha Baron
Oh,
Cohen in the
okay.
film as Abby Hoffman, and Abby Hoffman wore it. It's got like the American, yeah, like American shirt and American trousers kind of thing.
Yeah.
And interesting about that, you seen Forrest Gump?
No, man. I don't watch films. I watch what you tell me to watch, and I talk
Now,
about
have you
it.
not seen Forrest Gump? Well, anyway, Abby Hoffman's in that film as well. Not as Abby Hoffman. Well, he was dead by the time that came out, but a guy playing Abby Hoffman is in that film wearing that same thing. I don't think they say it's Abby Hoffman, but it's like quite obviously him because of what he's wearing, and it's like speaking at a Vietnam rally.
Yeah.
And then you don't
Pretty
hear...
big dude. Pretty. He was
What?
like pretty famous, you know.
Yeah,
Steal this book.
No, I don't read. You don't watch films. I don't read. I refuse
You don't
to
even have to
read.
pay for it. You steal it. That's the point of the book.
I know what a PDF is. Doesn't mean I want to read a PDF. Like, I wrote an article today. I'm not going to
Yeah.
read other people's articles.
Anyway, what? Yeah, I mean, definitely. I don't know. Might help with writing articles if you read them. It doesn't matter. Anyway, what did you think of this film?
I loved it. I think it's great. I think it's a great film. And I enjoyed watching it. And it's got a bit of Oscar buzz, and I think that's fair enough. I don't know what most of the other Oscar films are like, but I thought this film was good. And I like dialogue-heavy films, so this is perfect for me. What did you think, Rob?
I thought it was a proper Sorkin film where it was like very tightly written, like nice funny moments, sort of well acted, well put together, and I fucking hated it. I absolutely fucking
Really?
despised it. It's everything. So I mean, my like
I don't think we've really
knowledge of
disagreed
Aaron
on anything
Sorkin is
before,
kind of
have we?
limited.
Sorry. We've had
Maybe
like
not. No.
we've
I
had
think
stuff
maybe we've
where I
enjoyed
thought
things
it
to
was
a different
worse than you
extent,
thought it
I suppose.
was, or you thought it was worse than I thought it was. But broadly, we've been in like the
Yeah.
same ballpark. But this is one I really
Yeah.
liked and think it's good.
This
and you're like,
is-
I hate it. So please,
Yeah.
dig into that.
I just really. Well, okay, so I guess. So I'll start with like my knowledge of Aaron Sorkin is limited. And so. But like. My knowledge. So my understanding of Aaron Sorkin is sitting in a few episodes of my parents reading into The West Wing. And sitting in a few episodes of that and like sitting into like a couple of episodes of The Newsroom. And it's the same thing where it's this like it's all well like it's this snappy dialogue and all this shit, this walk and talk sequences, and like on that level, like I find it enjoyable. Like I do genuinely find it enjoyable. But then there are these moments that just betray this like moronic view of the world, like just really dumb, that take me out of the film. Like this is kind like this film was propaganda. It was like I don't think Aaron Sorkin knows it's propaganda, but it was propaganda for just a particular viewpoint that I find frustrating.
Because you love the Vietnam War, don't you?
So I guess talk about what the film was about. I fucking love the Vietnam War. No, but it's like it was just get into that. That was just handled fucking terribly. The protests and all that shit. So it was the trial of the Chicago 7, and I knew very little about the Chicago 7. I knew it was a thing that happened. Or I heard like it was the Chicago 8 or 10. I've heard that as well, because
Of Bobby Seale in there as
because
well.
of the Black Panther and all that stuff. But it's basically Aaron Sorkin's take on a real life historical event where the 1968 democratic election, a bunch of sort of counterculture groups went to protest the Democratic National Convention in Chicago because all of the candidates, both the Republican candidate Richard Nixon was pro the Vietnam War, and so was the Democratic candidate, who's I don't even fucking know the name of. Name's been lost to history, but and so these sort of anti-war groups all descended upon Chicago. Fighting between them, the police broke out, and then a certain figureheads were sort of rounded up and put on trial for this obscure law about causing violence across state lines. And this film is a dramatization of the courtroom proceedings after the fact, with sort of like playing fast and loose with history in many ways, with certain things, which, I mean, I'll point them out, because there was a few things I just go like, I don't think that's right. And I'd Google it and be like, no, that's wrong. That didn't happen. That's like completely wrong. And there was moments of that where, yeah, Sorkin kind of molding a real life event and inserting certain kind of narratives to it that just didn't happen. Like there's this so Aaron Sorkin, he reads a lot into what he sees as like a sort of rivalry between Andy Hoffman and Tom Hayden, who were two figures at this event. There were two sort of Andy Hoffman we were talking about just there, and Tom Hayden, and he presents this as like, this is really fucking boring, but this is why I fucking hated it. Is that he presented like Abby Hoffman as like this absolute fucking idiot and like, oh my god, what the fuck, like witty and stuff, but fundamentally wrong about the world and the correct thing. And Tom Hayden is this like, oh, proper prim, and we need to take this thing seriously, and like, you know, this sort of you people, you're going about this the wrong way, and we need to go about this a smart, sensible way. But that's bullshit. That didn't happen. That's like that's just, he's inserting, like, he's just obsessed with this idea that because it comes up in the West Wing, it comes up in the newsroom, that like, oh no, anyone like more left wing than me, they're fucking crazy and they're idiots and fuck them. But in the case of the real life Chicago 7, they were all kind of on board. They all like had broadly the same politics. They all thought that the courtroom thing was an absolute sham. They all thought this was bullshit, and they were all trying to crack jokes and say like, this is fucking dumb, like Abby Hoffman is presented in this film. And so I just didn't like, it's just taking a real life event and just Aaron Sorkin going like, this is what I believe, and I'm going to put this in here in a really forced, strained way, even though it has just no bearing on reality.
You know what? That's fair. That's pretty fair criticism, I think. But
I have more. But it's like, I get it that if you like, I get it that it was sort of me. It was definitely me being like, fuck Aaron Sorkin, this fucking moron. His snappy dialogue, you know, it doesn't make up for just lying about how the world works. And so it was me definitely like trying to keep up, and me going like, no, I don't think that's right, and Googling and shit. But on the surface level, I did enjoy it. Like their dialogue banter, I go like, yeah, that's kind of well written. So it's this sort of 2-level thing. So on one level I enjoyed it, but then there was just moments where I was like, no, that's like definitely bullshit. That's not how the fucking world works. That's not how this event took place, and things like that.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, I guess, like wider discussion to go into around like especially historical dramas, where I think there's that like Mitchell and Webb sketch where it's like, oh, I'm going to make a film true to life, and they're just in a meeting, someone's like, gonna go to the toilet now. And it's like, oh, should we wait for carry on? So,
Yeah.
no, just wait for him to get back. And it's just all in it. And so,
Yeah.
and especially because of like, you know, made in an age of Donald Trump and high political tension as well, for the film to, you kind of look at it, these films, like historical films, you look at through the lens of the modern day and try and make a statement about the modern day, which it does, but, and by doing that and by doing entertaining things and, you know, dramatizing it, you do lose that historic accuracy. I guess my thing is like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
About
I think it's. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, I guess like there is an issue that it kind of portrays itself as real. I don't know exactly. I've only like seen a bit around it. I know the like closing statement is total bullshit. Like that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But that's very like, you know what? I'll allow it. Like, I mean, things like that. So
Yeah.
I think, you know, it gets themes in there. The dialogue is good, and yeah, it does have that like I don't know too much about like Hoffman and what's the guy's surname? Hoffman and fucking
Hayden.
Yeah.
Oh, Ruben. Ruben is Hoffman's friend, who's
No,
presenting.
no.
He's kind of like the wacky stoner.
Yeah, no, Hayden. Like, I don't know if they were rivals and stuff, but I think it does work, and like, I think that especially through that modern lens of like their conversation of being like, I don't think it was like necessarily shitting on Hoffman's thing, because like there was I think it kind of balanced the ideologies and didn't necessarily say, maybe you could conclude that he's saying one is better than the other, but I think there was that like you know, we have to be proactive about this kind of thing, and it is a political trial and we have to make a statement, compared to Hayden's more like, you know, we need to go through proper channels things, and at the speech being like, in 50 years you're the sort of person that the radical left is going to think of, which, you know, through modern lens, sort of true.
But I don't think like this is sorry. Like,
and
this is just
I
what
know
I
that's
find,
not
like,
necessarily accurate.
It's frustrating that it's.
Yeah, I assume that isn't accurate, but I think it is like an interesting way of looking back on it, like retroactively, and, you know, inserting things there. But
Yeah, but what's frustrating is what's frustrating isn't just that like specific thing and like historical accuracy. It's just like moments in the film that like are just sort of out of touch with reality, or always in service of like the exact same. Like, Sorkin's big thing is that he has like just a massive fucking hard on for like institutions. And so like the idea that like an institution itself can be like fucking broken, he like just doesn't see that. He has just a fucking hard on for, you know, mass media, the like court system, the fucking democratic process, all that shit. And he always chooses scenarios where like I don't know how you could like believe that as strongly as he does, looking at these sorts of films, like, or looking at the things that he chooses. Like, I don't know how you can look at like the fucking you know, The West Wing was a dramatization of the Bill Clinton presidency. I don't really know how you look at the Bill Clinton presidency and go like, yeah, fuck yeah, this is the greatest fucking, this makes me so proud and all that shit. I can understand like not like hating it or whatever, but to idolize it, you know, to look at something like fucking 24-hour news reporting in the newsroom and to fucking idolize it in such a way. And similarly in this, he's like idolizing the fucking courts in a way that doesn't really line up with reality. So Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays like a prosecutor, and in real life, that prosecutor was like, he was a young And in the film, they present him as like, oh, well, he's young, and the reason he's getting this is because he's just such an unfathomable fucking hotshot. But he fundamentally has principles, and he disagrees with the what he's doing, but he believes in the system, and so even though he disagrees with all this stuff, he's going to try to put these people away, and because he's an honorable, good person. But again, that's not reality. It's in reality what he was chosen because, despite being young, because he like fully ideologically believed like, fuck these guys, these people were inciting a fucking riot across state lines, they do deserve to rot in prison. Like, he was a fucking asshole. And it's just those changes, like, it's not just about like accuracy, it's just always changing things in a certain way to further a certain viewpoint of the world that I find like baffling and dumb and stupid. And it's just moments like that like take me out of this film massively. At the end, when, I mean, we'll jump to the end, they're reading out the names of deceased American troops in the Vietnam War, is sort of the closing finale, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt like stands up, and he's, the other prosecutors are like, what are you doing? Why are you standing for the speech? He's like, I'm respecting the troops. What are you doing? Or some shit like that. I find that just so cringeworthy. It's so fucking dumb. Like, I just find that, like, I just watch that and go, this is moronic. Who likes this shit?
Me, I like
Bring
it.
me back to the snappy dialogue. Like, at least that's like, that's much the snappy dialogue, like, I enjoyed, but it's just moments like that. It's just moments where Aaron Sorkin's beliefs come through and you're like, this guy is a fucking idiot. He can write, but he can do nothing else. And just then there's just little things that jump out, like where like he believes like agent provocateurs. So there were a bunch of agent provocateurs in the protest. He presents them correctly, like or he presents them in the like protests and stuff like that. There's a hot woman who hits on Jerry Rubin, and so she is in it, and she's always like, but throughout the entirety of the protest, she's like, we're going too far, we need to stop this, we need to. And it's like, that's not how agent provocateurs work. They're a real thing, and they're the ones always inciting things. Like, this is the opposite of how reality works. And it's because, he just has such deference for, like, I guess the fucking FBI and the CIA, that he can't really work in his head the idea of, okay, agent provocateurs exist, but they're there to keep the wraps on things, and they're there to just do reporting. It's sort of the reality is just beyond Aaron Sorkin's brain, where, no, they're there to like get people arrested. They're there to turn these protests into riots in order to arrest people, which is, you still see in America today, but you really, really fucking saw it in the 1960s. And it's just moments like that where I'm just like, sorry for ranting at you, but it's just, this is like, what the fuck does this guy believe? Just the dumbest shit. Just the dumbest deference for institutions that are like fundamentally at their core shitty. And it's like that, like, if Aaron Sorkin was alive or he was alive, but if he was a fucking adult in 1968, he would 1000% support the Vietnam War. Because he'd be like, well, these are the two people we're voting for, and they're both pro the Vietnam War, and the process works, so I guess like this is a good thing, Oh, you're very quiet.
Now?
There we go.
Yeah, that's
there
fine.
We go, baby. There we go.
God knows why. It's just sometimes mic like comes out. But you ranted too long. My mic got bored. Like, he does shit on the courts and the police in this. I don't think they come off unscathed. I don't think there's necessarily like a complete love of big institution. And I
I think
again, going through the modern lens, I think there's a certain amount of, there is like corruption in the police, and even a country like America isn't infallible in terms of its justice system. But I guess that's different interpretations. The other argument I would say is like, doesn't that sort of come through in everybody's art, that they have political leanings and
I
things?
think there's
Whether
I
the
think
political beliefs themselves are
I think
stupid
there's
is
definitely
a different thing.
Oh yeah, but I think there's definitely like political leanings, and there's people who have their politics in their work that that I don't agree with and I enjoy. But with Aaron Sorkin, it's there's just something about it. There's just a fucking smugness to it that I fucking despise. And it there I don't know. It jumps out at me, and it's this like, again, this like historical revisionism of that, like, bending reality to be in service of what he believes, like it, and then just being really fucking smug about it. I don't know, I can't it's just a feeling I get from his stuff that I just really really don't like. And like another thing about this film, to rant on a bit, is that the protests weren't really about the American soldiers. Like, they were kind of like, they brought it up, but it was really about the Vietnamese. And this film really really doesn't, like, really really doesn't go into that. Like Rennie Davis, who was writing down all the names of the American soldiers in the film, in real life, he was writing down the names of the Vietnamese and the American soldiers who died. And like a big part of the protest movement was the fact that, like, the Americans are doing almost genocide in Southeast Asia, and there's just 1000% focus on the Americans in this, because, again, like, just sort of reading it, like, just trying to read into what Sorkin believes. I'm not a mind reader, but it's this idea that, like, that you see some Americans believe that, like, oh, the Vietnamese War was like kind of a mistake, and like kind of a mishap, and not sort of the system kind of working as intended. Like the fact that, like, just the American army, okay, went, killed, resultant deaths of like hundreds of thousands of people, if not more, and just like, yeah, that's the system working as intended. It's not a mistake. It's like these people pour money into their army to buy big guns to use them. And so the fact that, like, the Vietnamese aren't mentioned at all in this film is like, other than like the Vietnam War is mentioned, but like the cruelty that inflicted upon the Vietnamese people isn't mentioned in this film. For a film about the Vietnam protests, like, that's dumb in my mind, And it's just, even though I enjoy the snappy dialogue, you can't paper over that shit in my mind.
There's only one scene at the start.
You're quiet again, baby. Oh no, now you're in.
Nah,
Yeah,
man.
it's very, there's like
Where they
a
show
little
like
montagey thing.
yeah,
shows,
with
like,
them at the start, and they show like the
That's
napalm
it.
going on, and then maybe one like Hayden line being like, I wasn't going to sign up to kill Vietnamese. But yeah, it kind of like, I get why it's not the focus, because I think the focus is on America and like the things Americans going through and how it reflects now. So it's like, you never know with these things what's exactly left on the cutting room floor, and maybe there was more stuff about it, but it just wasn't huge to the story. But I do think it is a valid point that,
But
like,
is this relevant to what's going on now? Like the trial, all this stuff, it was very very focused on the Vietnamese War and the protests of the Vietnamese War, and the fact that, like, the Democrats and the Republicans believed the exact same thing in regards to, like, one of the cruelest American foreign policies to exist. I don't think that's what Aaron Sorkin believes. I don't think I think he's trying to twist this into a Donald Trump bad kind of thing. And like, yeah, okay, Donald Trump is bad, but I just don't think it matches up with. I think it's a really, really odd thing to choose to try and make it reflect today, because I don't think it really works. Like maybe if this was 2006 and like you're trying to draw parallels with like the Iraq War or something, yeah. But
maybe. I mean,
I just don't really.
it doesn't like stuff about policing and protest in general and things like that. I think it's right. Like but I guess the focus is more America than Vietnam. Yeah, maybe it doesn't like. I think it is a fair criticism to say maybe you should say the Vietnam War was probably the most unjust war. I mean, it was the most unjust war. I mean, there's probably some other stupid conflicts, but since World War Two, it's certainly involving like a major power. It's one of the most unjust wars post World War Two, and it was fucked up and was a whole just thing about like, well, communism's bad. Here's some communist countries. Let's just invade one, and they'll put the others off. But that was it. Vietnam wasn't special. They just invaded one. They essentially threw a dartboard at Southeast Asia and went, well, we can't take on China, but Vietnam, they seem like a bunch of pushovers, don't they? And then, oh boy, some funky guerrilla tactics.
Yeah, but it's man, the Vietnamese, like lived underground. They had those tunnels and they lived in them, which I found like I only learned about like kind of like I knew the tunnels existed. Like I'd seen fucking Vietnamese films, and I played Call of Duty Black Ops 2, I think, where you can play as a guy going through the Vietnamese tunnels. But they like there's diagrams and shit of them. They would manage to get tanks like fucking like 20 meters on the ground through these tunnels somehow. They would like disassemble them and reassemble them. They had cinemas where they'd play like fucking propaganda films like underground. Like that's fucking crazy. I don't I mean just spending years of your life in a hole. That's what the Vietnamese were willing to do.
Which is kind of mental. They were crazy fuckers, undoubtedly. And I guess they ended up winning, sort of. I mean, probably losing, because a lot of them got napalmed, but, everyone was worse off, but America certainly didn't win. I guess one of the things is, like, I'd give them the benefit of the doubt and say that Vietnam bad is like a path that's well trodden, and I think that there is like, by being sympathetic to the anti-Vietnam protesters, you are, I guess, by proxy saying Vietnam bad. But again, maybe that's giving the benefit of the doubt. Or maybe he does think Vietnam was fucking lit.
But man, I can go into like a few more. I feel like I'm fucking ranting.
No, do it.
Across you. Your internet connection kind of shit itself a little.
It might do that.
I mean, I could rant a little more, but I just feel like it's just these fucking moments where it's like, this is fucking dumb. This is just, and those small things, like the fact that the film, like one of the sort of turning points of the film is Tom Hayden. They have a recording. The prosecution gets a recording of Tom Hayden's speech, and like he says during the so what happens is, in the film, a kid is climbing on a flagpole, and the police like kind of beat at him, and pull him down. And then people sort of attack the police. What I think happened, and that's roughly what happened in reality. I think what happened in reality is a bunch of kids were standing on a statue, and the police came and like started fucking them up quite badly for standing on the statue. But the what Tom Hayden says, I don't know if this happened in reality, but he says, if blood is going to spill, let it spill all over the city. And that's what he's recorded as saying. And and obviously, like, that's bad. That shows that, oh, you're inciting some form of violence, even if the police are attacking first. And there's this moment where him and Abby Hoffman are talking about it, and Abby Hoffman is like, oh yeah, I've read your stuff, kid. You need to get over that dropping the third person pronoun and implying pronouns.
Yeah, I don't know grammar.
I
didn't understand that.
Well, it's just sort of this cringeworthy thing where, like, this is just such a dumb idea for like a turning point of the film, that like a guy forgot a word is like this core thing, and it's like this moment of respect between them. And all I can think of is that that's Aaron Sorkin like blowing smoke up his own ass. Again, maybe I just hate Aaron Sorkin so much that it's just reading into the worst possible interpretation of everything. Like the idea of like, oh, words are just so fucking important. Words are so fucking important. Drop even one, everything fucking changes. And this is the turning point of the film.
Well,
it's just a weird.
It does change, doesn't it?
It's just yeah, but it's just such a shitty fucking plot point. Like, to make that your.
I don't know. I liked it. I thought that whole scene was good, and then heat the moment, you can miss that word, and that whole like things get misconstrued and things like that, and things get taken out of context.
I just found it like just a very cringe-worthy plot point.
It's very pretentious, very wanky, and the way they talk about it, they sound like cunts. But I still think it's a good scene, and I liked it.
Fair. Like, I'm not saying you like shouldn't like it.
Sounds like
at all. Sounds like all. It, mate. But it's just, yeah.
You want to fucking go?
Man. Man, as soon as what tier are outdoor fist fights allowed again, then we can fucking go at each other.
I mean, you just walk down a street in Edinburgh and you'll probably see one anyway.
Yeah.
Especially where we live, like Leith Walk, Easter Road. It's gonna happen. Where my flat is at the moment is really close to the Hibs Stadium. So
you can hear them.
When football comes back with fans, I'm hoping I'll look out the window and it's just fucking fights everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I lived in that area before, and I remember like there would be a match and they'd be going until like 1 a.m. Like the match would be over, and then you'd still just hear the occasional, like, I don't know, guy dropping a bunch of pints at a pub, and just a massive outcry of like, way in the streets.
I mean, that's a British pastime of just saying way when someone drops something.
Whilst, yeah.
That's what we live for.
What did you enjoy about the film? I've been ranting about what I fucking hate about it for long enough. You talk about what you liked.
Kind of got it. Just like that dialogue thing. It's funny. It's enjoyable. Like, I do think, the strengths are like the characterizations with lots of like concise dialogue where people make their point and things like that, and you just kind of maybe. Not knowing a lot about the Chicago riots helped, where you're kind of like, I'm intrigued to see what happens. There was intriguing things like answering things and like the court process, and it sort of gets you pent up about this like judge being a sort of corrupt moron, which is actually meant to be sort of true, because it was like,
oh yeah, he was an absolute like kind of like Alzheimer's, like almost like, like almost dementia kind of, and that kind of comes through in the film.
Yeah.
It does come through in the film. I don't know if they explicitly say this guy is going a bit crazy, but he
I
comes across as like just an incredible asshole.
yeah, he comes across as a real piece of shit. But yeah, you get like the kind of thing like, how does this happen in
Yeah,
what's meant to be a just country when essentially they're like not allowing Michael Keaton to like speak in front of the jury, and then won't give like the jury that information. It's just like how,
yes,
and then so it does like, you're like, oh, it is a political trial and things like that, and yeah, just like all the characters like interesting in terms of like how they, again, maybe not necessarily true, but how they view things and how they all have the same goal, but there is conflict there. But then eventually they kind of, they are looking through the same thing, but see it in a different way, and kind of things, and they learn from each other. Like the thing, Hoffman and Hayden do grow closer and do see each other's perspective and know that, like, they are stronger together, kind of thing. But yeah, it is just like that snappy dialogue that keeps you engaged the whole way, and just a classic. One egg isn't enough. I mean,
yeah,
great,
great comedy writing.
great comedy writing. I mean, we've not talked about Ruben a lot, but who's essentially like the comic relief of the film, but he's fucking great. Of just like some of his jokes are just like when I think Hayden says to Hoffman, it's like, you traded a cow for magic beans, and Ruben's like, yeah, but the magic beans worked. There's a giant up there. And it's just like, and it just like the delivery. I think it's Jeremy Strong. Maybe I might have to look at the who's in like a few other things. And it's just great. It's just like perfect. Although at the end, in the cliff notes, he gets killed by jaywalking.
Yeah, and also became like completely like sold out or whatever. Became an investment banker, which to go from effectively like a party calling for communism to actually
working
might
in the city,
buy a few stocks. It's a big shift.
It is a tad.
I'm fucking languishing in darkness here. I'm like in
you have got
hovel.
really, really dark. I don't know
usually
why.
my window is bright enough. Give me a fucking second, man. Give me a fucking second. Let me.
It has got darker outside. There you go. Because I was quite. Now I'm very like white, but I was very sort of warm.
Boom.
Recording.
You're
Good.
quiet.
I think there's a
Yeah, no, you're right.
chance that I think probably Nomadland will sweep some Oscar stuff. I don't really know too much about it.
Yeah. I've seen it described as like a modern Western. I found that intriguing.
Yeah, that is intriguing. But so hopefully go round to watching these at some point. But yeah, I don't know. I was captivated. I enjoyed it. It's, in my opinion, the best film we've watched for the podcast. I mean,
I still my vote still goes to The Dig. It's just about digging.
oh
It's
yeah,
about digging. Can't fuck
The
that up.
Dig is good. The Dig is good. I mean, miss Serial Killers in there. What a
Yeah.
classic. And yeah, maybe Sorkin is a wanker with his political opinions, but who knows? I mean, I think being vaguely democratic, I'm someone who'd be like, you know what, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I'd be totally okay with it if it's the smugness that gets me. Like I don't expect everything I watch to conform to my political views, especially since my political views are very nuanced, and I'm on the above the fucking I'm on the political astral plane. I'm above this shit.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know. It's kind of the fact that it's smug propaganda for like the status quo, and it's when those things just come together with Sorkin, I'm just like this fucking like, ah.
Yeah, I think you hate pretentiousness more than anything.
um well, yeah, I mean, uh maybe that's it. Maybe if it was just a little less, I like the snappy dialogue. Is there a pretension there? Maybe a little.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
yeah, I mean, any sort of film like this is going to be vaguely pretentious, but yeah, there's definitely like because we've not had internet. My flatmate's been watching a lot of like he's got West Wing DVDs. I've only sort of half paid attention to it because I'm not particularly interested in it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It seems fine, but like I don't care.
Uh,
Because nothing seems to happen. But yeah, there's like because it seems to paint Democrats good kind of thing. In that is a bit like it's not like the thick of it. Everyone's an. You don't really.
yeah. I think your microphone's gone plugged out again.
There's going to be one bit that's just like really loud on the recording as that like clipped back in.
Ah, it was okay.
It was okay. Did the stuff about Armando Iannucci come through?
No,
Fuck. Basically,
that
it's
was
not.
the one good bit.
That was the one good thing I said. Yeah, like even with the thick of it, you don't know what Armando Iannucci's political leanings are. I guess as with Aaron talking, you do. And
Yeah.
Armando Iannucci is like pretty progressive lefty. I think
Yeah, I watched the Death of Stalin actually quite recently.
it's a good film, isn't it?
Good film. Good film. I enjoyed that quite a lot.
There you go. You
Uh,
didn't, even though it's not historically accurate because
No, but
They didn't
it's
speak
historically
in
it's not historically accurate
English
in ways
accents.
that like, of course, and but it's not historically accurate in ways that like I give a fuck about, like or it's not like in service of like, it's just not in service of like a fucking viewpoint, like the at the end of it, like a bunch of people die before Stalin's funeral. That kind of happened. They weren't shot on. There was just like a stampede. But like, okay, I don't care like about that historical inaccuracy because I'm not like pro Stalin. I'm not like, wait a minute, you're saying that they killed people when actually it was an accidental stampede? It's like, yeah, no, there's like lines up with, even though it's not historically accurate, it lines up with the feeling of like just the general reality. It lines up close enough that I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I don't care.
yeah, and it is just very fun as well. Apparently the like because the start of that film is like an orchestra where they're just like, oh, Stalin wants to hear like the recording of it.
The recording.
Yeah, and it like didn't work, so he has to get the. Apparently that like is based on something that happened. Like
Yeah.
someone was so
I've
shit
heard-
scared
yeah.
that it's like the whole thing they panicked and got everyone back into the room to do it.
Yeah, yeah, and I've heard things like when Stalin like would give a speech, like Stalin when Stalin would give a speech, you'd like, okay, I'm finished now, and stop, and people would get up and like it would erupt in applause, but people would applaud for like half an hour.
Yeah,
because
people didn't
nobody
want to be the
wants
first one to
first
stop.
person, which, I mean, I guess it sounds kind of bullshit, but I could definitely believe if it was like a room of like 50 people, I could believe it happening. Like if it was small little to a bunch of generals and stuff, I could 1000% believe that.
Yeah, and they were mental and like just killing generals who lost fights, and then went, oh, they were experienced and had valuable know-how, and all these young generals are proper shit and don't know
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, fucking Russia, crazy.
Crazy
Crazy.
stuff, USSR, crazy time.
It was crazy.
It,
Time.
it's weird. It's weird that there was just like an entire other like viewpoint of how like the world should work existed and doesn't really exist now. like maybe like North Korea and a few like despotic dictators, but like just this massive like viewpoint, like a actually existing implementation of, you know, yeah, I don't know if you call the USSR socialism. I don't give a fuck. I don't know, but just like a different viewpoint existing, and we don't have that now. Everything's kind of the same. Everything's like, nah, this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna, we're gonna let Apple and Google come in. We're gonna let them do their thing. Coca-Cola, yeah, sure, come on.
So we need to find a new system that's not capitalism, not communism, but different from both of them.
Yeah.
That's what
I still think benevolent theocratic dictatorship. You know, man, no one's tried it benevolent before.
No
Tried
one has.
benevolent, and then
The problem with dictators is usually they are bastards.
yeah,
There's
just
like
need to find a good one. Just go through them until we find a good guy.
yeah, like I mean, this is like the problem is that if you had a dictator, they could theoretically change the rule. But if we just, randomly selected a dictator every 5 years, from maybe a list of qualified candidates, or maybe from the whole population, it'd be fun. See some chaos.
Yeah. There was this like theorized fucking political thing, system where you have like a parliament set up, but the MPs or whatever are all just randomly selected people from the population.
Well, that's like the old Greek system.
Yeah, but I think you have to be like a landowning.
Yeah, but
man
same
or whatever
kind of thing. Yeah, it's like jury service. And
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
See how shit happens.
Well, because Ireland's got the fucking People's Assembly, hasn't it? Which they were trying to toy around.
Yeah,
with.
the Citizens' Assembly.
Yeah.
But that's just mostly a bunch of people. You get it like randomly selected, and then a bunch of experts, like opinionated people, basically lecture you, and then they decide like, yeah, we should have a referendum on this, or we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, it's kind of similar.
Referendums are going so swimmingly here, though. You guys, referendum's been gay marriage and abortion, and well, like
abortion. Woo. We're like, fuck the EU.
Fuck the rest of the world.
Yeah. It's been okay so far. No meltdown. Your microphone, man. No. You're gonna have to do some fucking editing.
Oh, I can't be arsed though.
There
I really
we
don't
go.
want to.
Send them to me. I'll do some. I don't know. Nah, it'll never get uploaded.
Nah, fuck it. The News of the World. The News of the World YouTube one's not been uploaded yet because YouTube was just like, I'm not processing that. I tried it through. I did try, and it was just like, I can't be asked to process this. It got stuck on 99% like 5 times I did it.
I mean, just do it on the spot. Just do it on Spotify.
Yeah, it's on fucking, it's on podcast, but the YouTube thing, because essentially all I'm doing now is like, got the thing on OBS, it will record a sound file, and then I just convert that to MP3 and upload that. I just can't, who fucking cares if this is edited or not?
Yeah, fair. It means that I sound shit through my microphone, which I paid a lot of money for. I paid dozens of pounds for this, but I don't really give a fuck at all. But yeah, man, I think that about I have more to say, but I just feel like I'd be ranting. Maybe I'll head over to yours sometime, or meet in public, or head over to yours or whatever. And I can rant more.
Is there anything unrelated to like Sorkin, I guess, and what you wanted to rant about?
Not really. It's just him coming through so strongly, and me being so repulsed. But yeah, I think that about wraps things up. What are we going to watch next?
I don't know. That was a good question. We'll have a think about it. I've not really thought
Yeah.
about this a lot because I've not known what's going. I've been thinking when are we going to record this and haven't. So I'll have a look.
Yeah.
There's almost certainly like loads of Netflix stuff. Yeah, maybe I did mention this Ginny and Georgia. You don't have to watch the whole series. You can just watch 1 or 2 episodes if you want.
Yeah, sure.
But it's
Yeah, actually, I mean,
just because Taylor Swift tweeted about it, and I've got takes.
oh yeah. Oh, you can just talk about that now if you want.
Nah, we'll
I
do
don't
it. We'll do it another time.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, let's
Okay,
wrap this
okay.
out. That's like basically bang on an hour, so that's perfect. Apart from fucking my mic
Deadly.
cutting out, but who cares? I'm very like
Who
dog
gives a
shit
fuck?
setup. I realised, I should probably put my computer's on the floor, so the microphone's like probably just coming out and things. Maybe I need a new XLR cable. This microphone's probably quite old as well. I should probably get a new microphone. Maybe who fucking knows? This was like 15
Yeah,
quid.
man.
Maybe I can vet when
Uh,
things open up again. Just get new microphone. I don't fucking know.
Man.
Well, let's just go.
It's,
Say
hopefully things open.
technically we're allowed
Hopefully
to.
fucking things open.
Yeah, we can meet from more than like 4 people outside on
Yeah,
Friday.
or something.
Um,
Yeah.
because both of us have been very, very good boys who would never.
I've been such a good boy. I've been actually such a good boy.
Well, I'm proud of you. Proud of you. Right, say your fuck offs, and we'll go.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.